Welcome to Astro Weatherman. All right, this is the new moon of November the 1st, 2024. Now, this new moon period is going to last from November the 1st until Thursday, so Friday, November the 1st until Thursday, November the 7th, right? So we're going to see what kind of weather the planets are going to be bringing into North America during this lunar period. And it does look interesting, especially on the East Coast and in the central US and into Eastern Canada. They're going to have some challenging weather, I think, this upcoming week. At the very least, it might be newsworthy. We are still in hurricane season, and the possibility of hurricanes are still quite strong. And this might be this week and possibly the next lunar week, the next first quarter moon period. I am looking at the possibility of either tropical storm or hurricane formation, which is what we're going to be looking at this on this video. All right. And also, this is, well, November the 1st and November the 2nd. I know I'm a little late getting out on this video, but better late than never. I'm also going to be posting a video coming up here soon, uh, probably in the next day or two, right before the US elections. I think I can put one out for Sunday or Monday. I'm going to come up with a forecast to see astrologically and numerologically which of these two candidates, Trump and Harris, has the edge astrologically and in numerology in terms of their cycles to see who might come out ahead. That should be an interesting study. So we'll see. And so let's get on to the weather and let's see what's coming up for this new moon of 2024, November 2024. Okay, Canada, let's see what's going on with the planets and your weather. We'll start off with BC, British Columbia, and you can see that there's no planets kind of running through BC, but they are going to be sandwiched in between two systems. One system is going to be up here, and that's going to be the planet Mars. And Mars brings heat to the atmosphere, and it's going to bring instability as well. Energy to the atmosphere, which can bring instability. And it's sandwiched between this other planet way out into sea, and that's Neptune, the planet of moisture and heavy clouds and cooler weather. So when you have cool meeting warm, there's going to be a turbulent atmosphere, and that could bring plenty of rain for the BC, both coast and interior, and snow in the higher elevations. So there's going to be a lot of moisture happening with you guys this week, BC. So just be aware of that. And then we go to Alberta. And Alberta, we've got Mars, okay, the red line, and the black line, Pluto. And so when these two combine, Mars's heat is going to start to reveal itself. The thing is with Pluto, and the aspects that they're making together, generally with Mars, it's making some very pleasant aspects with some planets. A trine to Mercury, which means it could be some partly cloudy, mixing sun and cloudy days, breezy days. And Pluto can bring in a surprise weather system in. So it can bring in some, passing snow or maybe even rain if the temperature is just warm enough. So that'll be passing. But for the most part, I think Alberta, Pluto will enhance Mars's heat. And again, though Mars can bring turbulence to the atmosphere, so it can bring that odd system running through. But overall, I think you guys, Alberta is going to have a really warm week of weather. And see a mix of sun and clouds and partly cloudy days, maybe some windy days, and maybe some passing, just occasional passing flurries or rain. Now, when these two combine, though, Mars and Pluto, sometimes, and especially in these kinds of configurations, it can bring fog. So it can bring some foggy periods. So don't be surprised if you'll see some heavy fog days. Usually the evenings or mornings, early mornings. Okay, and Saskatchewan, you're closest to Pluto, and Pluto is going to be, so yeah, Manitoba is going to be a little bit in between systems. But I think you're going to be very similar to Alberta in many respects. Partly cloudy days, mix of sun and clouds, some breezy days. They're going to have some days where temperature is going to be, much above normal, and maybe an occasional passing system that can bring some snow or rain. But again, not too much. maybe just some scattered moisture here and there, or just won't amount to too much. So I think overall it's going to be warm, partly cloudy, mixed with sun and clouds, dry, and overall, and some windy days, but overall, not a bad week of new moon weather. Now, Manitoba, you're sandwiched in between these planets of the Mars and Pluto, and now the Sun and Moon conjunction. And so when sun and moon get together, they, especially during new moon, the new moon tends to cover up, or it's on the opposite side of the Earth, where at the same side the sun is. So we don't see it in the nighttime or the dark side of the Earth. And so that actually can create more moisture, clouds, rain or snow. And same thing with Pluto, it can, and Mars, it can bring a more energy to the atmosphere. So you're gonna have a roller coaster of a week, Manitoba. I think you're gonna have hot, and while I say hot, it'd be some warmer days, intermingled with some cooler days, lots of clouds, and a lot of scattered showers or snow or flurries that'll pass through, just depending on the temperature, because temperature is going to be really fluctuating from that warm to cool. So it's gonna be a kind of a roller coaster week with a whole bunch of different types of systems coming in and out. So yeah. Now Ontario, you're right smack in the middle of the sun-moon conjunction. And so this is going to bring lots of clouds. You'll have some sunny breaks, sunny days in between, or a mix of sun and clouds, but for the most part, I think it'll be cloudier than normal, and you're going to have quite a bit of moisture. So this could come through as, when the temperature's just warm enough above zero, rain, but just as it gets cooler, it'll can bring flurries and snow. So it's going to be a week where you're going to have lots of, I think, moisture-laden systems. A lot of precipitation will come down. Um, and so just be aware of that. And, it'll catch some of the influence of this planet way over here. This brown line, that's Saturn, and that's a planet of storms. So that can bring in low pressure systems, a lot colder, cloudier days with sometimes some heavy precipitation and storm systems. So Quebec is, and it's going to catch this little purple line down here, which is going to add its influences. That's Uranus. And so that's going to bring in instability into the weather as well. So when Uranus and Saturn get together, and we'll talk about the states, but even in the Maritimes, they're in for a mess of weather coming up this new moon week. All right. So let's go right to the Maritimes. And holy cow, you've got all these. So Saturn is the planet of storms, Uranus is the planet of instability. And right now, aspect-wise, Saturn is making a square to Venus. A couple of nice connections to other planets as well, but so overall, I think you're going to just be aware there's going to be some strong storm systems coming through to the Maritime, some windy days, mix of sun and clouds, but overall cloudier. And I think you're going to have a lot of moisture coming in, maybe in the way of storms. Um, yeah, so the thing is because of Mercury, you got some mix of sun and cloudy days, but Neptune here off into the ocean, into the Atlantic, that'll bring the clouds and moisture. So you're going to have these two clash with each other. So sometimes that could be wind, so some strong wind with rain or snow. So we're going to see how that pans out. I'm very concerned about these patterns because they can bring about hurricanes, especially during hurricane season. Mm, so if there is going to be any hurricane development, or tropical storm development, it could swing its way up, hitting the northeastern U.S. And we'll talk about that in the United States section, and that could impact the Maritimes. So mm, hopefully not, but we'll see how this develops. Okay, USA, you are next. Okay, USA, let's see what's going on with your weather. All right, so we're going to start off on the west and the northwest coast. So you're going to be sandwiched in between Mars and Neptune all the way out here to sea. And so you've got the um, warm, hot energy of Mars that's going to bring a lot of energy to the atmosphere. It can bring in turbulence, so instability into the weather. Some warm days with passing showers or even snow in higher elevations. The Neptune line, the blue line, all the way out in the Pacific, is a big one, and it's going to be creating this massive area of moisture, and it's going to be clashing. You got cool Neptune kind of interacting with a hot Mars. That can create a strong amount of turbulence, especially towards the northwestern region. So expect clouds, rain, a lot of moisture, even up from Washington all the way down to Northern California. So a lot of cloudy days, lots of moisture heading your way. Now, further south, it's going to be more impacted by Mars and Pluto conjunction. So all the way from Montana, all the way down to Southern California, down to Arizona. So we're going to see a lot of hot, sunny days and some breezy days as well. But I think the temperature is going to be a lot warmer than normal. Now, the further north you go, Mars still is going to bring some beautiful weather your way this new moon lunar week, but it can still create pockets of turbulence. So expect some passing moisture systems of bringing some rain or snow. All right, but down south, it's going to be a lot more dry and maybe some passing moisture systems that'll come your way, but overall, a lot hotter and drier than normal. Now we get into this giant section of the US, and the US is in for a challenging week of weather for sure. So basically, from eastern Montana through all the way down to New Mexico, um, you're still going to have a little bit more of this Mars-Pluto influence, which is going to bring some warmer, drier, milder weather with some passing moisture systems. But as you further east you go into the Dakotas, into Texas, they're hitting the sun moon, and this is going to bring a lot of clouds, a lot of moisture. So expect plenty of rainstorms, and even snowstorms at higher elevations or even north, but depending on the temperature, because the temperature is going to be fluctuating from warmer to colder, but more on the cooler side. So there's going to be a massive amount of turbulence throughout the entire region of the United States, basically from the Dakotas all the way east to the East Coast. So especially down through the Great Lakes, you get into, from Minnesota, Illinois, through to Texas, Louisiana. There's going to be a lot of stormy weather, a lot of moisture coming your way. And then as if go further east, you got Uranus, and Uranus is the planet of instability. You're going to have a lot of cooler, drier days where you're going to have some really nice fall days, but Uranus brings surprises. Uranus likes to mm, bring challenges by surprise. When all of a sudden it's a beautiful, clear, sunny day, and all of a sudden, boom, massive storm system hits. So I'm concerned about, especially when Uranus is pairing with Mercury. They're both very notorious for bringing windy days. And this, especially when Saturn so from the Gulf, from the Caribbean, even it can impact the Gulf areas. So this energy is going to, let me try and give you a rough estimate. It's going to kind of occupy this entire region, okay? That is danger zone for tropical storm development or even hurricane development for this week. And we see this sort of uh, riding up the East Coast here. So I'm a bit concerned about this entire East Coast region. It's the possibility for experiencing either tropical storm or hurricane development. And that even goes down to the Caribbean area. Like, and, as I mentioned, stretches even through the midsection of the Gulf of Mexico, this entire region here are in a good position for tropical storm and hurricane development, thanks to the instability that Uranus brings. And Uranus can all of a sudden bring something out of the blue. So everything is looking good, and all of a sudden, boom, a hurricane forms overnight, and so we just have to watch for that. So hopefully not. Hopefully it'll just bring scattered thunderstorms, but we'll have to pay attention to that. Otherwise, um, there's a lot of instability throughout the East Coast. Again, a mix of really sunny, mm, clear fall days, cooler days, and some windy days, with partly cloudy to clear skies. And then all of a sudden, boom, you'll get a system that runs through a storm system that can all of a sudden wreak a bit of havoc or just really disrupts the day for a couple days, and then it just clears out again. So it's going to be a bit of a roller coaster that way. Okay, USA, there you go. Okay, Mexico, let's see what is going on with your weather. So overall, most of Mexico, I think, is going to be very nice in terms of weather, because the further south we go, again, there's usually a shift in planetary energies in terms of how they manifest themselves in the atmosphere. So we're going to start here in Western Mexico and the Baja California Peninsula region. So the further south we get, Mars gets hotter and hotter. As with Pluto, it intensifies as more of the action. So normally, while Mars can stimulate the atmosphere uh, and begin to bring turbulence to the system, but the further south you get, um, it tends to get drier and hotter. So I think you're going to have a really hot, dry period. Maybe some scattered thunderstorms here or there, but overall, lots of sunshine, hot and dry with some pop-up, maybe thunder showers. Most of Mexico, I mean, we're talking the majority of Mexico from about, I'd say this entire region right here, it's going to be hotter than normal and I think overall drier than normal. There's going to be scattered. Now, don't get me wrong. I think there's going to be some scattered showers. There's going to be some scattered thunder showers or thunderstorms popping up everywhere. But overall, I think it's going to be partly cloudy to a mix of sun and clouds with a lot of hot temperatures overall. Now, this section here, now let's move the map a little bit because now we're getting into the Caribbean portion of Mexico, which is the Yucatan Peninsula. And this is where it's closest to this purple line, and that's Uranus. And again, Uranus is going to be affecting like this entire, this entire section here. And Uranus is the planet of extremes, instability, a roller coaster of weather. So the temperature is going to be um, it's gonna be for this area, it's gonna be warm, but a sudden temperature drops because of moisture that'll come. And so this will come in thunderstorms, thunder showers. Now the concern here is further south, you know, tropical storm development. So, and possibly even the development of hurricanes. That is possible, hopefully not, which could impact the Yucatan Peninsula. So I don't know. I don't think it'll hit it directly, but it could side side hit it somehow. That's one possible route. Another possible route would be going this way. So we'll see how that transpires in the coming week. So Yucatan Peninsula, just prepare for some roller coaster of a weather week. Okay, there you go, Mexico. Okay, there you have it, folks. The November new moon for 2024. So stay tuned for the next lunar phase. And the next lunar phase of weather is coming up. It'll be the first quarter moon of November 2024, and it will begin on Friday, November the 8th, and it'll go until Thursday, November the 14th of 2024. All right, so we'll see what the planets are going to be doing to the weather during that lunar week in North America. Okay, I wish you all a wonderful lunar week. And yes, I hope to again place a video of the uh, American, the US elections coming up the next day or two. So stay tuned for that, and we'll see what which one of the two candidates, Donald Trump and Kamala Harris, has the edge energy-wise in terms of astrology and numerology. Hmm. And we'll see what happens. Okay, should be an interesting study, just like I mentioned earlier. All right, folks, I greatly appreciate all of you for watching. And again, have a wonderful lunar week, and we'll catch you in the next lunar phase, the quarter moon of November 2024. See ya.